Today we'll be working on quizzette number 21, which deals with rates and proportions. We're going to be looking at 5 questions, 2 of which will only take 1 or 2 steps, which involve simple basic DOK level 1 and 2 type questions. If you look at number 1, for example, as we look on the right side as a matter of fact, x over 11 equals 25 over 55. We know that these two proportions will be equal, but we need to figure out what x is. And in order to do so, we need to use cross multiplication. And what cross multiplication means is when we're going to cross multiply the terms that are diagonal from each other. We cross multiply 25 times 11, and that'll be our answer on the left side. Let's do the work on the corner here. 25 times 11. Well, we can use long multiplication to find out what that value is. So 25 times 11, 5 here, 2 here, drop down to 0, 5 here, 2 here. We add the numbers together, we get 275. And that's what the term is going to be on the left side. Now on the right side, we have 55 times x, and that will give me 55x. To finish off, what we do is we need to divide the number that is next to the term x. And the number that's next to the term x is 55. We cancel these. We divide 275 and 55. 55 goes into 275 5 times. Do not forget that that number 5 is equal to x. So therefore, 5 equals x. And that'll be quizzette for question number 1. Simply put, for number 2, x over 3 equals 11. Well, notice how there's a number below the x, and we need to get x by itself. The opposite of division is multiplication. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by 3. We cancel these. We have x on the left side, and then 11 times 3, well, simply put, it's going to be 33. Let's look at number 3 now. Josh drove 200 miles on Saturday and 300 miles on Sunday. If Josh used 20 gallons of gas driving these 2 days, what was his average miles per gallon? What we need to figure out, first of all, is how many miles he drove in total. And the two numbers we're going to be working with first are 300 and 200. So what we're going to do is, in order to find the total amount, we're going to add these numbers together. Simply put, 300 plus 200 is 500. Then finally, what we do, the 500 represents the miles. And what we do is, in order to find the average miles per gallon, is we're going to take the number 500 and we're going to divide that number by the amount of gallons they used. And the amount of gallons they used was 20 gallons. So 500 miles over 20 gallons, when we divide these numbers together, we get 25. And it is 25 miles per gallon, as that is abbreviated. And that would be my answer for number 3. For number 4, Mia is running a marathon. She is going to run 21 miles. She ran the first 10 miles in 60 minutes. If she continues at this pace, how many minutes will it take her to run the full 21 miles? Well, first of all, we need to find the average rate in minutes per mile. So what we're going to do is, we're given 60 minutes, and she ran the first 10 miles in 60 minutes. So in this case, we're going to take the number of minutes, which is 60, over the number of miles she ran to start off in that pace, which is 10. So that means, as I divide these numbers together, it is going to be 6 miles, correction, not 6 miles, rather 6 minutes per mile. Now, the number that I have not used yet is 21. I need to figure out the total amount of minutes she ran at a 6-minute per mile pace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 6 and then multiply that by 21. And then when I multiply 21 times 6, that will give me a grand total. 6 goes here. It will give me a grand total of 146. Correction, 126 rather. As I show you the work here. So it'll be 126 minutes. As we look at the last set of notes, number 5, Hollee hired 11 workers to build a new pool at her Las Vegas home. Each worker worked 20 person hours over 3 days. How many total person hours did the 11 men work? Well, as we explained earlier, the only two numbers we need to use are 20 and 11. The 3 days are irrelevant. It's not necessary. And in order to figure out the total person hours, all we need to do is take the numbers 20 and 11 and we multiply those out together. So that means 20 times 11 will give me 220. And it's 220 person hours. I hope that these notes are useful for you to work on your quizettes and your homework assignment.